Welcome to the Interrogation True Crime Stories podcast. All the stories told on this show are either fabricated, alleged, or didn't happen at all and shouldn't be used in the court of law. We hope. Sweet. Welcome to the Interrogation True Crime podcast. I'm your host, Corey David, and we have a very special guest with us here today, somebody traveling in from out of town, Will Abeles.
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
What's up?
A lot. I mean, you've been crashing on my couch.
I know.
For a few days.
A mere few feet away.
We've been mostly shirtless the whole time.
Yeah.
It's not a crime, though.
No, it's been kind of a gift, really,
it's
to your
really
neighbors.
Consensual. It's nice. We've got big windows at the house.
You have huge windows. It's like I'm like your bathroom doesn't even have a light, really.
No,
it's just a window.
No, the way this house was designed is the best crime I could possibly come up with. The theory is that this used to be like a business on the first floor, and then the family lived upstairs. But even still, they had to have just put up weird walls and made it work plumbing wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a great. It's fine. It works for me.
It's a good apartment.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're coming into town from Nashville.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Been here since last Thursday. Was here for a wedding for a couple days and then been doing shows. Well, Mike's all week and now I'm starting shows tonight.
Okay, tight. Yeah, because you did the Interrogation live show on Sunday.
That was very fun.
Yeah, man. I was gonna say, what do you think? I was gonna say you got some good questions from the audience.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. That was fun. It was funny because I had to think back. I was like, all right, what's a crime I've committed? And most of them are something around partying and drinking.
Yeah, and that's fine. And that's the thing. When we tell people about the show, it's not always some heinous crime that you've committed. A lot of times it's like, I stole some gum from the store, and if there's like some loose thing, you can like kind of attach to that and just start asking questions and just kind of maybe that get them to admit something that's kind of stupid or silly. Yeah. Or if it's just the police are involved.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's a similar situation to you. A lot of college parties. I'll even tell mine on the show today because I just think it's fun and it'll kind of tie into like what you were talking about before too. Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of like, even if the police were just involved in some way, shape, or form, or you got away with something really dumb.
Well, that was always the thing, was the police were always there. They were like, I was thinking about like, maybe I'll tell like getting the drinking citation stories, but I was like, they weren't really that interesting. Like I had one beer and the party got busted, and it happened both times, and I was like, oh, this is the most boring.
Yeah, that's like, they're not writing movies about that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, nobody's pitching that script to anybody.
Right, so that's why I was like, I'll go back to Boston.
So I mean, what you did miss, the live show continued to improve, not because you left. That sounds like
that's usually how it goes, though.
Yeah, I know. So like, it got out of hand. One of the comics wound up like she was rolling a joint at the interrogation table, which was fun. It's a little silly. And then some guy who I could only express as like a metro shaman, if you will, like an urban shaman type.
Okay. You meant like a city shaman.
Yes.
When you said metro shaman, I thought you meant he was like very well manicured, like a very well manicured.
He kind of was.
Shaman.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of was. But he had a didgeridoo. You don't see those every day.
Wow, just carrying it
around. Yeah, I don't know if he has like cargo shorts or something that he stashed it in, but yeah, he had one. And then he was wearing a mesh thong. And when Phil started rolling the joint on the table, he danced his way to the front of the room and then basically dropped an ounce of weed on the table so that Phil could roll more joints.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's a pretty good time.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not so bad. So plug all your social media stuff.
Sure. My Instagram is at Will Abeles Comedy. My TikTok, I think, is at Will Abeles Comedy. I'm more on Instagram. I know.
Yeah, it's going really well.
Yeah, it's going fantastic. I love it so much. Then Facebook, I'm also Will Abeles Comedy, and I had a website, just lost the website a couple days ago.
Yeah, who needs that anymore?
I was like, I don't want to pay $300 to have like one person use it.
It's like the phone book these days.
Yeah, it's in the phone book.
Nobody cares.
Yeah. So
if you need a plumber, just look up Will Abeles on the internet.
Yeah, Will Abeles plumber. Yeah, there's 3 Will Abeles. Me, there's a wrestler in Idaho. It's true. I'm sure he's not wrestling anymore. He was in high school at the time, but he could be. I don't know.
It's a tough career. You thought comedy was rough.
Yeah, and then a plumber. I'm sure there's a Will Abeles the plumber. But yeah, so Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and I don't use Twitter, but it's at Will Abeles. I made a tweet. The last tweet I made was like in April. Yeah. To say I was deleting TikTok or deleting Twitter, and I just never got around to deleting it. So I just
so it still exists.
So it still exists. I'm just not on it.
It's your best joke yet. Just people are waiting to see.
It's my Andy Kaufman
yeah,
moment. Yeah. Right. They're waiting for me to come back from the dead.
Yeah, just holding on. So the way the show works is we're going to go through some different crime stories that I just found on the internet that I think are really stupid that we can talk about. And Will's going to tell us a story. I'm going to tell you a story. Every story that's told on the live show and on the podcast is alleged. They're things that we make up and embellish a bit for the sake of the show, just so you guys can laugh and have a chuckle about it. Yeah. These are in no way completely true or actual crimes. I do need to kind of say that. But the whole reason we do this is because everybody does dumb shit. At some point in your life, it's kind of fun to commiserate about certain things a little bit. And I think it's easier to kind of cope with the pain of maybe a bad decision or being wrong place, wrong time, if you can hear about other people talk about it. So, all right. So let's get into it. We'll start with an easy one, mostly because I have strong opinions about it. What would you guess is the number one park violation and complaint in Denver?
The number one park violation and complaint?
Yeah, like at parks.
Is it suicide?
I mean, that's a good one. I don't know if it'd be number one. It might be the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd probably be pretty bad. I would also throw like defecation up there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
seems like people poop in parks.
What else would it be? I mean, what about having sex in parks?
Is that really a crime?
I mean, I don't know. Well, I think maybe like
it's technically a crime.
Technically, it's a crime.
But by the law.
You know?
But it's something you should be able to enjoy.
Let the people bang.
I think you should.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, the kids got to learn sometimes.
Yeah, right. Like they come around the corner, they just saw a nice little waterfall, and they're going to see another waterfall.
It's nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen ducks, squirrels, rabbits.
Yeah.
They're all fucking at the park.
No one's complaining about that?
I mean...
Maybe someone is.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw these two rabbits going at it one time, and I was just like, I don't like the way he's doing that.
I would love to be or just see this happen. I don't want to be involved. I just want to see it happen. But like a park ranger sitting there and like actually hearing someone complain, be like, "Hi, excuse me, we're here with the kids and we saw way too many rabbits fucking." Mm-hmm. And just like you had to be the park ranger.
Yeah, I don't get paid enough for this.
Yeah. Okay.
Number one park violation: off-leash dogs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
I know it's like in Denver, very common.
Yeah.
I mean, dogs are rampant in this town. They actually ship shelter dogs from other places to Denver because the adoption rate's so high.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. But the problem is nobody trains these motherfuckers.
So I feel like the dogs in Nashville that I've experienced on the trail are all very well trained.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's because they're southern dogs.
Yeah,
they have manners. It's called hospitality.
They have manners.
Yeah, I had a golden retriever say, "Bless your heart," the last time I was down there. And then he peed right in front of me.
Yeah, and then he went and got you some sweet tea.
Yeah, exactly. They're a different breed, literally and figuratively down there. The thing about with Denver is that there's so many dogs and there's so many shitty people, and there's plenty of good people too. But I mean, people are here to like live their best life.
Right.
I made a joke before that like nobody lives their best life here more than like Midwesterners because they don't have to be polite anymore.
Yeah.
Like everybody just came here to like go rock climbing, hiking, biking, get a dog, and they just envision like a Jeep commercial where the dog's just like running down the trail and
there's no one else around.
Nobody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got the whole place to themselves.
There's no other wild animals, no mountain lions, there's grizzlies waiting for them.
Yeah. And I have been bitten by an off-leash dog before.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it does kind of suck. So I'm not really happy about it.
What do you do in that scenario? Like, cause you got to take the
punch.
Oh, is that what happened? Just punch the dog.
No, punch the owner.
But the dog's still dogs still biting you on one hand.
I took them both out, buddy. I was gonna. It was like WrestleMania. I threw that Yorkie over the top rope and he was gone.
Oh God, like it's Call of Duty. It's like a Call of Duty.
No,
moment.
it was like one of those things. Like I had to push the dog off basically, and then the owner comes running over, and they're like, but they always like don't address the severity of the crime.
Right.
You know, they're always just like, oh, he never does that. I'm like, it doesn't matter.
It still bit you.
It still happened, like right now.
I know, and that's such a tricky thing because it's like, I think you have to like put the dog down like you're supposed to, you know, and then it's like up to you. Like, am I going to do that?
I suggested doing it on the spot. I was just like, I'll handle it. I love dogs, okay? I do.
But just not this dog.
Yeah, I guess I've interacted with so many like well-trained dogs that I just have zero tolerance for and I know it's the owner, right? Everybody always says it's the owner, but at the same time it's like, yeah, but your dog is still an asshole now. Like, so I think I still think you should take care of it.
All the dogs because I've been dog sitting since like 2015, maybe 2016. And I think it's got to be hundreds of dogs at this point that I've watched. And I think I've only been bit twice. But not counting like puppies, just kind of teething or whatever.
Yeah.
And one was like they told me, they're like, yeah, you can't take, like, it doesn't like his stomach being touched, but I had to also try and take the harness off. And I was like, how do I do this? And he just was like, you just don't. So he just like snapped at me, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to leave the harness on.
So it just has the harness on for forever?
For like 5 days. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say, was it born with the fucking harness?
I mean,
how is that? It's just like, no, it just has to, that's just the way it is. He's got to keep that shirt on for forever.
Lived in that harness for that weekend at least. And then I had a golden retriever who was super nice. And then it was freaking out on another dog. Because I guess golden retrievers, they're more like, I don't know what the actual statistic is, but I remember reading one point that like golden retrievers actually bite more than any other dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Isn't that kind of surprising?
It must be just like it's the golden retriever lobby. That's like making pit bulls seem worse than they actually are.
Yeah. Like, make it all about pit bulls. But yeah, this dog like was going crazy, and I like went to like calm him down, and he just like also snapped at me. And it was like one of those moments where sometimes they'll snap at you and they're like, oh, sorry, my bad. I was working on the
Sorry, not cool, bro. My bad.
He like, this one snapped at me and then just kept going, and I was like, oh, you're violent.
Yeah.
I was like, you have this violence in you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Took too many steroids in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Captain of the football team.
Yeah.
It's probably Air Bud.
It was a very cool house.
What do you think happened? I mean, that's probably like what would happen to Air Bud after he graduated. You know, he's just like a shell of himself. Just
got into roids.
Just living in his high school like past.
Well, I think he had kids. You know, he had the franchise to go.
Oh, that's true. I guess I apologize. I didn't get much farther past.
There's like 300 Air Buds.
I know. I think John Patton does like a bit about all the different Air Buds.
I mean, I lost track. I mean, I think I saw Air Bud too. I would feel confident.
That sounds like a good
guessing that I saw Air Bud too.
Yeah. All right, moving on. So, despite being denied 11 times John Lennon's killer to appear in a parole hearing.
Despite being denied 11 times, John Lennon's killer is to appear in a parole
hearing.
Interesting.
Yeah. First of all, I guess I just would have assumed this guy was also dead at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, if people get a bad rap for being like a pedophile or a woman beater in prison, how the hell is this guy escaping? So it's just a lot of like...
I guess they have to be isolated.
It's mostly Rolling Stones fans.
Yeah.
Whatever jail that he was in.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks,
no,
man.
we really do appreciate it.
Mick, find like a blood trail with Mick Jagger.
Yeah, that's ultimately who was behind it the whole time. Like a mob movie. It was like, we got guys on the inside. We'll protect you.
He had to have just been isolated the entire time.
Yeah. Well, over 40 years ago, Chapman was convicted of killing the famed Beatles member as he walked inside the luxury New York apartment. His luxury New York apartment, sentenced to 20 years to life in prison, has been denied parole 11 times. So you kind of have to wonder, like, why is he even getting it now? Is it just for this? At this point, they're like, they just want to check in, be like, hey, buddy,
maybe he has cancer and he's old.
Yeah,
and they're just like, you know what? Maybe we'll just do this on the outside instead of the inside.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't like the Beatles at all, so I might have done it too. But if I was gonna take any of them out, I don't know if it would have been him. I think it would have been Paul.
I don't know. I mean, he was getting pretty annoying. He and his wife were getting real annoying.
It was just the annoyance factor.
Yeah, like it was really annoying. Like
it's like, listen, buddy, we had a good reason to go to Vietnam. You can shut up about it.
Is she Vietnamese?
No, I don't know. Yoko Ono, I think, was Japanese, but I guess more in the sense of what?
You're just like went straight Vietnam vet.
No, I just meant like, I mean, I feel like the big thing with the Beatles is they were protesting Vietnam.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone was though.
Yeah, that was the joke.
Yeah,
that's all I was trying to say. Yeah, it wasn't. No.
I was like, all right, well, this was fun.
Just like everybody else, they love Yoko Ono.
No,
you were the one that just said she was annoying.
She is annoying.
Okay, fine.
I don't understand what happened here, but
I just love that he's getting an encore 11 times, and he's just like, he's coming back.
What, but lucky number 12. Yeah.
All right, last one. Just the title just says porch pooper. Family launches bid to identify mystery man caught on doorbell camera defecating on front porch. Now, what I don't quite understand is launches a bid means to me that they can't just tell who it is.
Launches a bid.
Stranger's act of defecation was caught on camera. And, so they got a front and they got a back. Was he trying to take an Amazon package and just decided to leave one?
And just take a dump instead?
Yeah.
Oh, what a weird... What if he just had to go? Like, what if it was
true.
Like, what if it was one of those moments where he was like, I'm going to steal his package. Oh my God, I'm about to shit myself.
Or he just needed a place to go, and this provided some... Because if you can tell by the picture that there is some level of, closure there. You can be a little hidden.
Yeah. So maybe he just needed to get off the street. But why the porch? I mean, they probably had, some bushes.
You'd think so.
But
this seems it seems intentional. But so is it a crime of passion or is
it's just like a natural, yeah.
Like this was an estranged lover that like just
that's what
was being denied.
That's why the wording's so weird on that one. Like launches a bit like, it's like it's not like a transfer for like a soccer player.
Yeah. So the pants down footage is making the rounds on the internet as the search for the mystery pooper is on. The motion sensor lights and camera turned on at the moment he got on the doorstep. So he knew. He knew that he was going to get recorded. And the lights turned on so he either really had a vendetta or he really had to go, and it could be both.
Or 3. Mm-hmm. It's his kink.
Yeah.
And then he went home and masturbated immediately.
Yeah, we can't necessarily tell because the lighting's terrible in this picture, but it does look like he at least has a semi-boner. I can't quite tell, but he is slightly aroused, and it does look like he's zipping up his pants, so we can't really tell. Part of the mystery for sure. No record of cum left at the scene.
Oh, well, I mean, he'd be done.
Yeah.
He would have been done. That's like the only thing you need, right?
Yeah. I feel like maybe if that usually is what does it, and he's like, man, tonight wasn't the night.
He was like, how? Or what if he's just like, you find out this is like, this guy's been doing this for a decade, and finally after like getting caught like the first like 50 times was like, oh my God, wait, what if I just stopped coming on the crime scene?
Maybe. But that's all that he needed to do to not get caught.
Yeah, he's like the anti-Dexter. He's just like terrible. He's like always getting caught. He's always coming on the crime scene.
Yeah, I leave evidence everywhere. He literally...
Wait a minute.
What if he actually stole a bunch of stuff from the house and then he pooped on the porch to like make that the thing that people talk about? Like they didn't even notice that the jewelry was missing.
Like $5,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah, they're missing a lot of stuff, and then they were like, "Oh, but somebody pooped on the porch." So that's the news story.
I like it.
I think ding dong ditching is gone, right? Like that's not even a thing anymore.
No, I worked with a girl back in Nashville who still does prank calls. Like her and her friends still do prank calls. Mm-hmm. And I think that's so funny.
That went away with caller ID. Well, can't you punch in a number so that it shows up like an unavailable number? But then who's answering unavailable numbers?
I didn't get the details, and now that we're talking about it, I'm thinking maybe Madison's a genius. Somehow she's getting people to pick up and still prank calling them.
Maybe she's sending a pic first, and she's just like, "Hey, you want to talk?" It's just hopeless dudes.
Yeah, that's what a prank. I guess that's a prank, Yeah. Or just like psych, then block them.
Yeah.
But then you got to ask how did they get the number. There's a lot of steps to this.
I know.
How did they get the number?
I'm very curious now.
Yeah, well, I'll have to ask her.
Yeah, figure it out. So I know you had a story that you wanted to share. Is it similar? Is it the same one that you had the other night?
Yeah.
We're not going to be posting that story, so this is a unique offer for everybody involved.
Yeah. So what year was this? This would have been, I was in college. I went to Emerson College in Boston. And I was in a fraternity then that no longer exists. It was more like a social fraternity. Well, they're all social fraternities, but it was more like about networking. And
no, there's some nerdy ones. There's like band and math and
yeah, kind of like that. It was actually a military one, but no one.
Nobody was in the military.
No one was coming out of the. It was like started in World War II, and then no one was coming out of the military then going to Emerson College in 2010. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so they were like, "Well, you're a." Was I a junior? I was a junior. They're like, "You're a junior. You need to like take a social. Like you need to take like some kind of." Leadership position in the fraternity.
Yeah.
So I was like, do we have a social chair? And they were like, we haven't had a social chair in like 5 years. I'm like, I'll be the social chair.
Yeah, that's the fun. I was a social chair in college. I get it. Right. Yeah.
So I want to throw like this crazy, because Emerson really didn't have a lot of like crazy parties. Like in Boston specifically, like a lot of the parties were in Alston, part called Alston. And there was a couple guys that had houses there, but I wanted to throw like just something just truly dangerous.
Yeah, like from a movie.
Yeah.
Like the way that we all envisioned parties to be when we were 15 years old.
Yes. I want it shut down in 45 minutes and I want to make 10 grand.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. So my friends, my ex at the time, she, like, there was a big group of girls I was friends with, and they lived on the top 2 floors of this one building complex, and they have these giant lofts. And I was like, hey, can we throw a party at in the 2 lofts, like the upstairs and downstairs? Like we'll make one floor where we put the keg and stuff. And then like one floor will be the dance floor. Also, I decided to do a comedy show. It was a terrible idea. Ended in a massive fight. Mm-hmm. But then the DJ there was amazing. So as soon as I saw the fight starting to break up, I was like, DJ, start playing.
So you guys don't have a frat house?
We just didn't have a frat house.
Yeah, so just like a group of nomad fraternity brothers.
Basically,
just
as a
wandering
great description
the
of it. Yeah. So then the floor below that were these guys that went to Suffolk, which is a big party school, and they were like, dude, we'll be the game room. And I was like, cool. And then the final floor was just kids that happened to also go to Emerson, but they were like, we're throwing our own party. We don't want any of your people.
Oh, a mixing of two parties. And one level is shut off?
Yeah, one level. First level, too, which would have been key to put the keg. Because we had these big stairs going up, and so I put the keg at the top. Anyway, I'm
you
going
put the keg at the top of the stairs because
Right.
you couldn't get to the first floor. Brilliant.
So at this time, Facebook is still relatively new. I say this. I forgot to say this the other day, but I say this on stage. I was like, Facebook then was like Joe Biden during the Obama administration. Like it was just like you trusted it.
Yeah.
You know? It's not like now.
Yeah. It seems like what could possibly go wrong?
Right.
You know, this is all private information, right? How could it spread?
And so back then, like everyone used Facebook really heavily just for setting up events. And like people, like if people said they were going, they were actually going. If people said maybe, they were maybe going. And if people said no, they were legitimately not going.
Yeah, back when people had manners.
People had manners. So we just like, I'm just sitting there one day with the president of the fraternity, and I'm just inviting, not just like everyone that I know, but just like, oh, they're at Emerson, invited. So I invite like, it's got to be half the school.
Yeah, so it was like the original version of invite all, right?
Yeah. And so we have like 500 people say that they're going, and we were like, oh shit, we might have fucked this up.
Uh-huh.
But we didn't say anything. So then the party starts, and like legitimately, like I think we had like 700, 800 people there, and it was to a point like the whole place is packed to the point that people can't move. Like if you're in one of the rooms, you're fine, but trying to get up the stairs, people are just like cattle. Like they're just packed.
Sounds like a college party.
Yeah.
Sounds like going to a bar, like in college, right? And you're like, this is amazing. Why would I want my own space and to hear anybody?
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to dance and grind and hope this person becomes my future wife.
Yeah, and try to yell at this girl while she explains what her dog wore for Halloween.
Yeah. Perfect. So. I mean, people were like, I'm not even exact. Like, people were paying me just to, like, they were like, I was like, hey, man, we're at a beer. And they were like, I just got to see this thing, man. This is crazy. And like, people were like, hand me $5 going. And I'm holding, like, I'm just standing there up front. Within the first hour and 15 minutes, I'm holding just like a couple grand, just like a wad of cash.
Yeah.
And I'm also now freaking out because half the people are in the street drinking. Like, people are starting to bring in their own beer, which is whatever. But it's just like, it's so packed that like, I can't.
This has escalated beyond your control.
But at the same time, I'm also like,
yeah, just having a good time. Yeah. The plan has come to fruition more than you thought it would.
And we also had this one dude who, there's a comic in Worcester named Sean Connolly. And Sean was like one of the guys that got me into comedy around that time. He just had this big friend from Worcester who just really liked me. And we're standing in the front door, and I was asking people to stop drinking in the street. And some guy tried to fight me. And then this dude he went full bouncer and was like, all right, well, now we're fighting. And I was like, oh, okay. So we even had a bouncer. Like, it was that insane. So it's getting out of control, and the cops show up, and like they come up and they like look up the stairs, and they're like, "Holy shit, dude!" Like,
they weren't prepared.
They were not. They were like, "This is insane." They were like, "Dude, this is a massive fire hazard." And I was like, "Truthfully, this is not my place, but it is my party. I take full responsibility."
Oh, look at you being the good guy.
Well, I'm also holding those cash where I'm like, I got bail money now.
Yeah, right. I'm surprised they didn't confiscate that for evidence.
Oh, they didn't. They had no idea I had it.
They want to buy so much drugs with this kid.
Yeah, that was gone. But they were like, I was like, honestly, I just need help getting people out. Like, I lost control of the party. And they were like, okay, we got you.
Nice.
So they're going in, they're kicking everybody out. And like, but they were straight up, they're like, dude, like, you woke up the halfway house down the street. That's the only reason we're here. Like, you can't, like, he's like, you have people drinking in the street. He's like, if you guys stayed inside, I don't care. And so they were pretty cool. And they let us pick like 20 or 30 people to like, hang out and kick the keg.
Oh, I thought you were going to say pick 20 or 30 people to get arrested.
No.
This guy, this lady.
Oh, yeah, you want to fight me now?
Just, all right, we have to take somebody.
Yeah. I'm like, how about that guy? I don't like his face, and I don't like his friend's face. These two are out of here.
Hey, freshman, get over here.
We don't let freshmen in. No, kidding.
Tight.
So, so they kick everybody out, and the guys look at me, and they're like, so be honest, like, which college is this? Is this like Boston College? Is it Boston University? Like, they're asking us one of the big schools, and I was like, actually, it's Emerson College. They're like, get the fuck out of here. Emerson College hasn't thrown a party like this ever.
Yeah, so legendary already.
Yeah. And he was just like, that's crazy. He's like, he's like, also, no one throws parties in Cambridge. He's like, what are you doing? And I was just like, I don't know, officer. Like, go. Like, thank you. Go
There's
home.
clearly a reason this hasn't been done, but we hadn't thought about it.
Yeah,
so we wanted to have some.
I want to be the
fun.
first.
Yeah.
So a year later goes by, maybe a little more, but it's around St. Patrick's Day, and the top 2 floors decide to throw another party again. I'm not involved. I'm just going to the party. But the party's terrible, so then I get involved. And so, like, the dance floor had the lights on. I was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, right?
You know, I was like, turn the lights off. People were dancing within, like, 5 minutes.
Yeah, they're small aesthetics that you just need to take care of, right? Like, let's put on some good music. Let's turn the lights off and make sure we have plenty of alcohol.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you only got 1 keg for 800 people, so.
Okay, well, we had a bunch of beer balls.
Oh, okay. Oh my God! I totally forgot about those.
We had like 10 beer balls and we had 1 solid keg. So we did have a lot of.
So there was a stash, and at least with the beer balls, you can strategically like place those in different places.
That way,
Yeah.
we were like, no, this is staying here so that
just
no one just grabs it. And walks
that's
away.
true. Yeah,
like
somebody could just like grab one of those.
Had dollar shots as well, just the shittiest vodka you could imagine.
Oh, of course, that's the way you used to. That's how you did it. When we made like jungle juice and stuff for our parties, it was like 2 handles of like Devil Springs, basically, like which is 100 proof. Like I don't know.
Oh yeah,
whatever. It's like pure. It's pure
Everclear
alcohol.
or something.
Everclear. Yeah. This was the knockoff version of that. It was called
so you
Devil
knew it was
Springs. Yeah. You dumped 2 of those in one of those big Gatorade dispenser things, the container that you have for like a football team or whatever, and then you just load it up with juice and whatever else. So yeah,
and then you save the rest for a Molotov cocktail to defend.
Oh, you could definitely have lit that thing on fire. Don't smoke cigarettes near the juice. Like that was rule number 1.
I like that. I would love if there was like a sign that just was like, rule number 1. Don't smoke cigarettes near the juice. Rule number 2, there are no other rules.
Yeah, you know? Don't put your cigarette out in your cup.
Please.
This could escalate very quickly.
Yeah,
beer pong got pretty intense.
Yeah. So like a year goes by and they're throwing another party. Party's not that great, but whatever. Gets a little bit out of control. Not on the level of the year before, but it does get full enough that the girls are throwing it and they're all starting to freak out. Mm-hmm. And the cops show up again, so they start kicking some people out. And I overhear one of them go, "Dude, last year, Emerson College threw the craziest party I've ever seen at this place." And I'm just drunk enough and stupid enough that I was like, that was my party.
But also, how did they not connect the dots on that?
I mean, yeah, I know.
I mean, community college cops in Boston. What the fuck?
Well, it's Boston. It's Boston Police Department. They're not the best decision makers. But so I was like, oh, that's my party. And he's like, oh my God, that's that kid right there. And then so I ended up talking to them for a minute.
Yeah, just becoming homies. You're like, dude, we talk about you at the station all the time. Can't believe we didn't get your phone number after.
It was like, dude, you seem like a good hang. So, and like some kid.
Do you want to shoot my gun?
Yeah, like it becomes a full McLovin situation, which would be perfect because that was my nickname freshman year was McLovin.
Yeah,
so this would be great.
Good. So,
I mean, like, dude, it was so. And the other funny part that happened was not just that connection, but one of the girls throwing the party. He's like looking at all our IDs or whatever, and we were all 21 at that point, so it really didn't matter too much. But he's looking at the ID and he's like, "You're from Boston?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Are you so and so's sister?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's my older sister." He goes, "Oh shit, I dated her in high school."
Oh man,
and it was like one of those weird nights.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's so. If you guys weren't best friends after that, I don't really know how you wouldn't. He was
like, this guy, not really, but like in theory, kind of got me laid.
Yeah, but, in a roundabout way. Yeah, it would have been even funnier if he took a girl home from the first party.
So wrong.
You're like, so what are you studying?
Yeah. Oh, you like math? Yeah. But so the party's wrapping up, and like it's St. Patrick's Day, and it's St. Patrick's Day in Boston, so we're just getting tanked. And I decide that I'm gonna walk home, which is like 3 miles, and I get like closer to the duck pond. You know the duck pond that's famous in the in Good Will Hunting, where he's sitting there with Robin Williams. It's drained, right? So I go to the nearest cafe, I steal a chair, I just start walking through like 2 feet of mud. I get all the way, like, I don't know what I'm thinking, but I get all the way to the duck pond, and I just sit in the chair, and I'm like, I'm the king of the duck pond.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there. And
That's a drunk decision, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I'm just sitting there, and it actually stayed there for a couple of weeks before someone was like, why is there a fucking chair up here? And then I go back into my room. I go by Securitas. I'm in, like, I have no shoes on. I'm holding my shoes. I got mud knee down to my feet. And then I go to my room, and one of my best, I lived in the dorms, too, my senior year. So I'm back in the dorms.
What? Why?
Well, because the first semester of my senior year, I was in LA doing an internship. And the second half, I didn't want to find proper housing.
Yeah.
Also, I played tennis, and I only had 1 class. So I wanted to minimize everything to just, like, have fun the entire semester.
Fair enough.
And so, like, yeah, I like woke up, played tennis, went to my 1 class, and then graduated. You know,
slept in the same room with 5 other guys.
No. Emerson had some pretty nice suites. Like we were in a suite, so I had my own room.
Ooh, bougie.
Yeah, little thing going. But yeah, then I go back into my room and my friend is hooking up with another friend. Like these two of my friends are hooking up, and I was like, "You both live on this floor. Why are you doing this in my bedroom?"
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, good point." And they left, and that was the end of the night.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely memorable.
Yeah, I mean
that's the kind of thing you would actually make a movie about.
Yeah, see that one. It's a pretty good party.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good party.
If you'd have pitched that in like the early 2000s, you'd be rich right now.
Oh, that would have been. Or even
that's
like
a Can't Hardly Wait. That's an American Pie. That's everything I loved back then.
I think as far as like 2013, I could have probably still pitched that.
Yeah.
You know, because you got to think. Well, I guess Superbad was like 2007, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was like the last one that I remember, but that's also not my demo anymore.
Yeah.
You know, of like what's coming out. But honestly, those types of movies have definitely slowed down. You know, I was just literally talking to somebody about Road Trip the other day.
Well, it's just this thing with like, what are we going to teach, 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old men these days? Or like, do you want to be like, hey, this is an appropriate way to behave, and you should just be a man-child for the rest of your life,
Yeah, between that and Limp Bizkit, no wonder we're fucked. Yeah, so mine is not as intense, but we used to have like we used to be the party house at our place too. I was like the rugby social chair. I was in a fraternity for like a year basically, and then
was it a rugby fraternity, or you were in a fraternity and you were in rugby?
Yeah, I was in a fraternity first, and then I found rugby, and I just started hanging out with the rugby guys more. Yeah. But when I was with the fraternity, we would do these things every once in a while, like during pledge week, we would have like a stripper party where we would basically just hire two strippers. Like when we knew people that were like friends of ours that were strippers.
Right.
So we would like hire them to like come to the house, and it would be like 20 of us just kind of like hanging out in a basement or whatever.
So you once a year you guys threw a bachelor party.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. And I mean, for all things considered, pretty tame. You know what I mean? Everybody was like well behaved, and like because they were friends of ours, like we made sure that like everything was like super above board, right?
Sure.
One of the times, I don't know why they decided this would be a good idea. They threw a regular party in addition to having the two girls come over.
Oh, that's not good.
So they were doing they were stripping in the basement, dancing or whatever.
'Cause you lose control of the who.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nothing so the whole thing is just debaucherous in the sense of it's just a full party. Everybody's smoking and drinking.
Yeah.
Music's blaring, and we have two strippers in the basement just like doing their jobs effectively. And the next thing I know, the lights for the house turned down. And I thought it was because there was like a surprise coming. I was just like, oh man,
childlike wonderment.
I was just like, oh man, what do the guys have planned? You know what I mean? How could this
It's gotta be for me.
It's gotta be better than that. What could be better than this? And then as soon as the lights go off, you just hear me go like
ice cream cake.
You just hear me go woo. And then the next thing you know, you just see flashlights like coming down the stairs.
Like, cool.
Yeah, I was just like, oh no, that's not. I don't think that's a fun surprise. That's a bad surprise. They like came through the windows because the doors were locked.
Can they do that?
Who knows?
There's no way they could do that.
I mean, we were in no position to, I don't know, tell them about our rights at that in that particular moment. So, I mean, they like kicked everybody out of the house, and our move was always like take the tags off the kegs and then just leave the house, everybody, and for like an hour or two, just go to the bar and like come back and hope for the best, basically. Right. But yeah, man, that was one of the most ridiculous parties that I'd ever been to. Like, just I mean, for a lot of different reasons, but like the whole like having strippers there and stuff is just like it was too much.
And you're like this, you're the police officer. You got your mag light. You just broke into a window of a college party, and you're just flashing this light around, and then you just see a stripper, a fully nude stripper.
Yeah,
and you have to be going, oh, I fucked up.
Oh, right? Yeah. I mean,
until you process what is actually happening,
indeed.
You have to be like, I either just made like the biggest bust in this police department's history, and I'm like, stopping sex trafficking, or I really, really fucked up.
I really messed this one up. Yeah. I don't want to write a report about this. I got to get out of here. Cool, man. Well, hey, thanks for sharing your story. Appreciate it. Catch the Interrogation live show at Bandit Oak Brewing. But in the meantime, go to @Interrogation True Crime for live show clips and podcast episodes, podcast clips, any updates with the live show and whatnot. If you want to follow me at fake Corey David with a K on Instagram, you can do that.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
Well, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Nice hanging with you this week.
Yeah. Now I'm going to go back on the couch and talk to you some more.
All right. Sounds great.